Hi, and welcome back. Uh, it's been a couple of days since I worked on my squirrel's treasure box, and yeah, it's a whip, and it doesn't bother me that it's a whip. I will get back to it. I've actually been working on trying to rearrange some of the stuff in my room and make room for working with polymer clay again. So that's what I did yesterday. I played around with clay. And I've been stitching a little bit in cross stitch. The weather's been kind of nice, so a lot of my time is being spent working in my yard, trying to get some of the weeds out of my garden, which is always a tough time. But today what I thought I would do is I just made myself some sugar-free black cherry jello, and it's the Walmart variety. But I thought what I would do is make a little journal out of this, because now I've got a hankering to make a journal. So, and right now I haven't done anything to it. I'm trying to decide how I want it to look. And the way Jello boxes are set is it has this little poke-in perforated area where you can poke it in and pull the lid back. And of course I never do it like that. I always just open up the end flap and take the little packet out. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this off and pull this little, and leave this little tab as part of the front of the journal cover, and maybe make it a little pocket inside. So let me start. Sometimes I leave the two long ends until I finish to see what else I might want to do. So let's see. I mean, it's perforated, but I'd rather cut it. Oh, excuse me. I've been outside cutting down little sapling trees and pulling a few weeds, and it's very hot outside, so now I'm trying to cool down a little bit. It is beautiful out. It's nice and sunny. Right now this is all natural light. I don't have any lights turned on in my room. There. So all I did was take that little flap off. And let's see. The ends are always longer, but sometimes I like to leave those to add strength. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut down here. Poor unstrung hands. Oh well. I'll cut down the other side. And you notice I cut the sides on the same direction as the back of the box. So let me get my craft knife, and I'm just going to do that the rest of the way. There. And that kind of opens up the box. So I want this to be the front and this to be the back. And this is only glued together, so I definitely am going to have to reinforce the spine. And I'm actually thinking about just flapping those in, and that will give extra strength there. And then I will cut these little flap. Oh, I could flap those under. It just adds bulk to the back of the book, which isn't a bad thing. But I think I'm going to cut this back top flap off. And I will use that inside of here to give additional strength to the spine. So that I'm going to glue right there. And I may do it right now. See, I've still got colored pencils and everything else all over my desk. Alright, first I'm going to put, and this is just Aleene's tacky glue. I am going to put a little glue just under that flap. And then I'll put some over it, just inside the folded edges, because this will be covered with paper and stuff, so I'm not really too concerned about it letting go. But as you saw, I'm kind of heavy-handed with the glue and stuff, so but that's okay. Better safe than sorry. Okay, so that's on there for strength. And I might just cut these flaps, these little flaps off. Because I still haven't decided what I want to do with the side flaps. This is half the fun for me of journal making, is seeing it's kind of like a puzzle, just figuring out what I want to do and what kind of extra, space and additions I can make. Okay, so that's what the box looks like now. So 2 side flaps, the front of the box, the top part of the box, the back of the box, and then I've put this other end right in here. I just glued it in to give the spine strength. Okay, let's see. So I'm just going to do a little journal like this. What do I want to do with these? Do I want to reinforce the back? No, it's so little. I'm just going to cut it off. That's one. But, just so you're aware, you can leave all this stuff on there and make it little flips and folds, or just use it for extra strength. And if you want, you can even save these pieces and make tags out of them, or use them as structure strips to reinforce other projects. When we recycle, we recycle. Okay, so there is that. And the outside of this is coming apart a little bit. So I think I'm going to take some more glue and maybe reinforce right there. And get my hand all in the glue anyway. Okay. Swipe up all the excess. So theoretically that could be the front, or that can be the front. And I kind of like having this little divot there for the front. So since I'm just doing this on the spur of the moment, let me go get a few little papers and I'll be right back. Okay, well, I'm back, and this is more about the Black Cherry Jello Box Journal, and I haven't done any more to it. it's in the same state it was when I finished that last clip. I did pick out some papers because I'm thinking black cherry jello. So at first I was going to do it like a red, white, and blue theme. But then I decided I was just going to use some of these single sheets of paper that I got in a subscription pack many years ago from Paper Wishes. And use some of this up because I have a lot of paper to use. So this will be a good way. And I was going to use a 6-inch paper pad, but looks like I'm going to use 12-inch square paper because the 6-inch isn't big enough. And while I'm saying that, I will say that I bought a die from Amazon. Let me take it out of the package. This came from a seller in China, and I've never had a problem with some of the dies that I've gotten on Amazon from sellers in China. They're beautiful. This one, however, does not have all of its cutting edges. So there is no cutting edge here on this fan. There's no cutting edge on this whole side except this little piece here and this little piece there. So it doesn't cut out. It will cut into the paper. And I was trying to use this glittery piece of paper that I also got from Paper Wishes in a pack. But as you can see, it really isn't much. Doesn't leave any marks. It's just kind of, I don't know, junk. Anyway, we're going to make the best of it. And what I think I'm going to do is I took the piece, which is here. And I mean, I could use it as a tuck spot, but it's too big, obviously, to be used in its entirety in this little journal. So what I think I'm going to do is I already cut the edge off of this sheet of paper using my little trimmer, which is a Fiskars, and it would actually go into a ringed binder. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it right about here, and then it'll be a nice like pocket or corner tuck in one of the pages. So let me put this in my trimmer. Oops. All the way through would be good. And I will set this. Just going to set this over it to see. And that looks about right. I have it up against the edge so I can at least try to get a straight cut. And we'll just trim. And there it is. So you can see that it creates a loose edge. Then all I'm going to do is take my small scissors and I will just go around this little thing on the end and just cut it down. So it leaves a little piece like that. And that'll make a cute little tuck spot in my journal. So there's a piece that's ready to be used in some way. So, and that's pretty much how this will go, is I just kind of make things. I put the book together after I cut it, and then I go through and I kind of decorate the pages. So let me clear some of this away. And I still have this little piece here, which might be usable for something. I don't know what, maybe a tab. I will just come to this edge and just cut it down. And put this behind it again so you can see what it looks like. Either looks like this or like this. So we'll see. And I always keep my stray bits of paper together as long as I'm working on a project. I usually get a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and then anything I'm using goes into that Ziploc bag until the project is finished. So, let's see. I have to cover this. So let me get some of my packing paper, because that's what I will cover this in before I put any decorative paper on it. I'll be right back. And here is my Jello box, and I've decided I'm going to use my Yes paste. I think I got this on Amazon a long time ago. It's still good. I checked it. Now I have a, and this is what I'm going to use. This is just a small piece off the end of one of those big, I don't know, paper packing things that you can get in items that you have shipped. What I like about this is it's in sections of, like, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 inches, and they're perforated so you can pull the pieces apart. I really like this. And this was just a jagged end where somebody packing the box ripped it from the roll or however it comes. So I am just going to use this to first cover my box. And I'm going to use my DAP spackle, just a plastic spackle spreader that probably came in some spackle for the house. It's DAP. But, I mean, if you don't have a spreader thing, you could use a craft stick. That's what I usually use. But for this, I think this will do a good job on the Yes paste. I'm going to turn it so that this is the edge that the box is joined, where I glued it down extra on the outside. So I'm going to put that edge away from me so that my spreader has a clear travel down in that direction. So let me get some paste out. And I'm just going to put it on my box. And I just want a thin coat, which is why I'm using this spreader. I'd like a nice even coat. You could use a store card, a credit card, an old style room key for a hotel. You know, whatever you've got. Plastic knife, plastic spoon, whatever's strong enough that can hold up to a little pressure as you spread this stuff. Now let's see, I want a little extra along that little edge where the flaps of the box meet. I think I'm going to pick this up a little and just make sure I have this end well coated. Okay. I don't want it too thick. Although, that's kind of silly because this stuff is thick. Okay, I'm going to get it around the edges. There we go. Now, you know, I didn't put any like extra book binding tape or anything on the spine of this little box because it's really small. I'm just going to set it down for a minute and scrape my spreader off. Because I'm frugal, I don't like to waste any of it, or as little of it as possible. I'm going to turn the edge around and scrape it a little bit more. I don't know. Let's see, I'm going to take my popsicle stick here, my craft stick, because it's not really a popsicle stick, and just clean down my edge a little and get as much off of that as I can. There. And that's a much smaller area around the lid of my jar for it all to be in contact with. Okay, I'm going to stick that over there so I can wipe it all off later. Put the lid on my paste. Well, I'm not going to bother because I still have to do the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this down here, turn it over. I'm going to put it, I'm going to try to straighten some of the wrinkles out in my paper. And I'm just going to press it all down. Okay. I'm just going to, let's see. Let me see how much this covers. Okay, so we have a little gap there. But when it folds over, it's pretty well covered. So, we will go with that. I'm just going to cut this off over here. There we go. So there's a manageable piece. Oh, and okay. I evened off this. I just cut this top edge a little bit more level. What I'm going to do is kind of trim down. Well, I'm going to take a little bit off this edge where the little tab jig is. And I'm going to cut the corner. I'm doing it kind of gradually because I don't want to I just want to make it so that corner isn't quite so thick, but I don't want it not to cover the edge. So this side I'm going to try a little different. I'm just going to cut it in like this, and then I'm going to cut it like that so that it just clears out by that corner. There. This end I'm not worried as much about, although I do want it to cover the end. So, there we go. Okay. And I like this Teflon baking mat for protection on my table, but it makes picking things up a little bit of a hassle because it definitely grips everything. You don't move. Alright, so I am going to take some more Yes paste and put it on my book here. Try not to get it everywhere because this stuff is massively sticky. A little bit more. There we go. It's on. Just close up my paste. I'm going to put the short ends in first. Here's that one. And I'll put this one in. Now you notice that I covered up that little tab, but I'll still be able to see it, and I can use a hole punch or something and cut it back out. I'm gonna wrap this piece up as tight as I can get it. and smooth it on down. And then I'm going to put this down as tight as I can get it. And it mostly covered the whole book. I think this needs to come up and be just a little tighter. Something nice about Yes Paste is it does have working time. There. Trying to decide what I want to do with this. Let's see, it's got a cover to there. And it has to cover to there. And I think I may just cut those corners off just to reduce bulk. So all I did was fold this back until I could kind of see where the glue was going to start, which is right about there. And then I'm just going to cut this paper back. Oh, I think it's time to get my other scissors out. Let's see. Yes. And just cut that. I think I got that. Okay. And then I will cut this. I may have to put a little extra glue on there, but that's okay. And I can fold this back to about here. Something I like about these scissors too is that they are like Teflon coated, so sticky doesn't mess them up too much. Let's see. Cut along that line, and I'll cut along this line. And turn it. Just cut back. There. So there's that. And I'm going to put paper over this, so it doesn't really matter. Of course, it kind of blends in with my mat. Let's see. So it's not too bad. I covered that and kind of brought it all together, and it makes it so the spine is kind of protected too. Let's see. So there's the back of the book. And it's still wet, so I probably shouldn't really be bending it yet, but I want to make sure that there's some memory here for the paper. There. Okay, let me let this dry, and I will be back in a little bit.